Hey guys, so I'm here for my first video in the Sagalong. This is an event for February hosted by Elena Macrina, along with Mark at Richardson Reads, and Steve Donahue, and myself, and Crystal of BiblioAtlas. And I will leave links to all of their channels, and if they make videos today, I'll try to remember to include links to those. And I'll include the schedule for this read-along as well. We're going to be reading the Saga of Gunnlaug, Wormtongue for next week. But this week we read the Saga of Eirik the Red. And this saga is sort of weirdly titled because honestly Eirik himself doesn't play much of a big part. But he was the main sort of ringleader in the settling of Greenland, the gigantic island that is not very green. Actually, one of the funny moments in this saga is when Eirik names Greenland and basically says, well, people might be more inclined to come here if it has a nice name, because Greenland's actually quite cold and dreary, but or at least that's the impression I get of it. But anyway, most of the saga is taken up with the Greenlanders' explorations of America. So the Vikings actually discovered America about 5 centuries before Christopher Columbus did. So that's a fascinating episode. And another weird thing is that the main sort of ringleader of this isn't Eirik, but it's a guy named Karl Sefni, who we don't know much about him. He just sort of leads this band into the Americas, and the main part of the Americas that they explore is what we would call today, like, northern Canada. Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Labrador, and Baffin Island. I went online and Googled this stuff and looked at where it probably was that they explored. And so yeah, these are very northern reaches of Canada. And actually, the Vikings' name for this region that they're exploring is Vineland, or Vinland, which actually relates to the vines that I guess are very common in those areas of Canada. And I think they're probably vines that grow grapes, because I think it also relates to wine. So yeah, anyway, it's mostly about them exploring America. And they meet with some Native Americans, obviously, but although the area of the Americas that they explore was very, and still is pretty sparsely populated, just because it's very close to, the Arctic Circle. It's kind of inhospitable. But they run into some Native Americans, and at first they start to sort of barter and trade with them, and things seem to be going well. But then a bull that the Vikings brought along with them to the Americas for some reason suddenly sort of goes into a rage or something, or kind of charges out from somewhere for some reason. It's not really explained. He just sort of comes out of nowhere. He's not really mentioned before or after this incident. But anyway, this bull rushes out sort of in a frenzy, and he frightens the Native Americans, who then run away from this sort of bartering session they were having with the Vikings, and then they return sort of decked out in the panoply of war, and are hostile, and there's a sort of skirmish between the Vikings and the Native Americans, and then not long after that, the Vikings just decide to go home because they don't have any supplies or food, and the people there don't like them, so they just go home, back to Greenland. They also run into a second, smaller band of Native Americans, which is just like a family of 5, and they just kill the adults and take the children with them back to Greenland. Actually, some of the adults I think they didn't kill, because I remember there are a couple Native Americans who just sort of, I guess, dissolve into the earth, as you do. And while they're in the Americas, they also run into a one-footed man who isn't very happy to see them and attacks them. And that incident is just kind of tossed in with not much context. Yeah, so then they go home, and that's basically it. That's basically what happens in this saga. It's very short. It's not even 20 pages. I read a Project Gutenberg version, and so I read it. I copied and pasted it into a Word document, and as a Word document, it's 19 pages. So it's very short. I wasn't expecting it to be as dry as it was. There wasn't that much, vivid characterization or human drama in it. It really was just a straightforward chronicle of what was happening. Sort of sort of in the vein of a lot of those old historians, in particular the ones that aren't as fun to read, I suppose. And so this was just okay as a reading experience. It was really interesting to read, a primary source of of this really fascinating incident in history, where these Vikings were the first Europeans to discover America before Columbus, and that was very interesting. And there is another saga called the Saga of the Greenlanders that I found out about in my internet perusings, which also tells some of the same events in terms of the Vikings' exploration of the Americas, and so I might be interested in reading that, just to see if there's any more meat on that story. But yeah, I guess overall it was a bit of a disappointing first week for me. I'm gonna look forward to what other people have to say. I can see definitely how this document has a lot of historical value, certainly. Just as like a story, it was sort of a bit lackluster. There wasn't too much to it, unfortunately. So yeah, that is my little rambly discussion on Eirik the Red. For the next week, we are doing the Saga of Gunnlaug Wormtongue, which I have heard good things about. I've heard interesting things about, so I'm looking forward to that one. And then the week after that is King Harold's Saga, which sounds really good, and then the Prose Edda, which also sounds very good. So anyway, yeah, that is my take on Eirik the Red. I want to hear from anyone who's read it, either for this saga or for this Sagalong or previously. Did you like it? I don't know. How has this been valuable in the study of history, I guess, is the main question I've had. Again, I can see how it could be. But are there people who like this as a story as well? Has it been dramatized? That would be interesting to learn about, whether this has been dramatized in plays or novels somewhere, or in some other epic, perhaps. Yeah, anyway, just give me your thoughts if you've read it. And, yeah, anyway, so I think this is going to be a short video, and next week's probably will be too. But anyway, so I will see you all next Sunday, and yeah, have a nice week.